Good evening, everyone. We are going to call the City Commission meeting for the City of Deltona, February 21st, 2022. May we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Bradford? Here. Commissioner King? Here. Commissioner McCool? Here. Commissioner Ramos? Present. Commissioner Sosa? Here. Vice Mayor Vasquez? Present. Mayor Hertzberg?
Here. And now this evening, we're going to go ahead and turn the meeting over to Commissioner McCool for the invocation, the pledge, and the singing of the national anthem. It's all yours, Commissioner.
Thank you very much. Good evening, family and friends. Thank you for joining us this evening. And what we will do is I have asked Pastor Bradley to do the invocation. Will be followed by the pledge and then our national anthem by Jaili Santos, 7th grader at Trinity Christian Academy. Pastor Bradley. If you could remove your lids.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we just thank you for your goodness, your mercy, and your grace, Lord. And we thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be here tonight. And we pray that you bestow your blessings upon our City Commission meeting. Lord, we want to first ask you to continue to bless our mayor, our commissioners, our city leadership. Continue to bless them, Lord, with wisdom, Lord, that they can continue to guide our city, Lord, with the spirit of progress. Dear Lord, we also ask you to bless this meeting tonight. We pray, God, you bless the agenda and that things will be done decently in order. And as we leave this place, Lord, we pray that we all will leave with a mutual exchange of agreement. Father, bless the participants, bless our community. Lord, just continue to be with us as we stand in the need. Lord, we ask that you bless us with your peace, your power, your provision, and your divine protection. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we're hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, we're so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That was a great job. Thank you very much. Okay, first item on our business meeting agenda is the approval of minutes for the regular commission meeting of February 7th, 2022 as presented. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved by Commissioner Ramos, seconded by Commissioner King. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Move on to the fun part of our meeting, presentations, awards, and reports. So first on the agenda is a proclamation honoring Deltona High School for receiving the School of Excellence Award for their great accomplishment of achieving excellence in education. Who has that proclamation? All right, Commissioner McCool. And if you want to come on up, Commissioner McCool. Yeah, we do. It's on the, or there's a portable one right there. Yeah.
This is one of my fun parts of this job here, and this is a big thing here. Out of Volusia and Flagler counties, Deltona High achieved this. I'm really proud of the hard work that they do there, and you guys are fantastic. You really are. When I visited your school, your passion and your commitment to excellence in education really shows, and being the mother of an educator myself, it's really awesome to see what you do over there. So I would like to read this. Whereas on February 1st, 2022, the West Volusia Education Committee was on site at Deltona High to present Principal Mike McAuliffe and his staff a plaque for their outstanding achievement for receiving School of Excellence Award in Education. And whereas out of 12 high schools between 2 counties, 10 in Volusia and 2 in Flagler, Deltona High School proved their excellence in education. And whereas Deltona High School achieved the highest graduation rate of 96.8 in Deltona history. Hey, can I just get a clap for that? Yeah. Whereas Deltona High School ranked number 1 out of all high schools in Volusia and Flagler County districts. Applause. Whereas Deltona High School has increased their graduation rate 21% over the last 4 years, from 76% to 97%, and whereas Deltona High School has outperformed the state graduation average for 3 years in a row. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and Commission of the City of Deltona, Florida, do hereby recognize Deltona High School and team for their outstanding achievement and congratulate them on receiving the School of Excellence Award, executed this 21st day of February 2022. You guys rock.
Hi, my name is Mike McAuliffe. I'm the principal of Deltona High School for you guys that do not know, and I just want to thank my team that is with me tonight. Some had prior obligations to be with their family and some night events as a high school normally has, but we are just thrilled to be a small part of such a huge accomplishment at Deltona High School. It truly takes everybody, and we could not be more proud of the staff that we get to work with and the students in the class of 2021. Very grateful for the things that are happening on Wolfpack Run, and stay tuned because the best is still yet to come. So thank you.
Okay, item B is a joint presentation from Commissioner McCool and DeBerry Commissioner William Sell. Commissioner McCool.
Yes, thank you very much. Back before Christmas sometime, I was discussing with my friend Councilman Sell from DeBerry about being healthier minded. So we entered a weight loss competition, and it's been very sporting to do that through the holidays and now rebounding. For me, what I have found is a healthier way to live. I'm not impressed with my weight loss, but I am my new habits. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Commissioner Sell. We have whoever wins, we're donating, I'll let him speak to that after. So the weigh in right now will take just a minute. So cross your fingers. Take your watch off, please. Your glasses weigh a few ounces. good decision right there.
Say what you started at, and I'll say.
Okay, I started at 193.4, and today I'm at 189. So I'm going to take it, and I've subscribed to a healthier lifestyle, and I'm going to let you do your thing.
So I started at 314.4 on October 17th, and today I weigh 302.4.
So now tell them what's going to happen.
So I'm going to donate $500 of my own money to a food bank in DeBerry. The city will probably end up matching the $500 through a 501c3. So they're going to get $1,000 in total to the food bank in DeBerry.
My nonprofit, or what is close to my heart, I will be donating $1,000 to Neighbors Helping Neighbors in Deltona. Neighbors Helping Neighbors, unselfishly, they go out on the weekends, they fix up properties that people can't afford to fix up, they don't have help to fix up, they keep a food bank going, and they're real underdogs in our community. We have 2 members from Neighbors Helping Neighbors here that I see. Would y'all stand up, please? Thank you guys very much for everything you do. I'd like to thank you, Councilman Sell. You are a good friend indeed and a good sport, and I've learned a lot, and I hope that you have too.
One thing to remember, I think Dana and I will become less of ourselves over time. I didn't get a personal fitness trainer. I didn't join a gym. I just cut out garbage. So it's actually just a lifestyle change, not a diet per se, but I plan on dropping pounds every week for the remainder. I mean, my goal is to get down to about 240, which would be a big deal for me. So,
And that's mine also. As we get healthier as a community, that was the goal to start with. Because I'm getting older, I'm not going to lie, it's harder to do faddish things, you know, and it's about a healthier lifestyle. Eating better, getting out in your community, visiting the parks, walking, doing healthier stuff. So it's the lifestyle change, and I'm really proud of us both. And I want to thank you for being a great sport and being a leader of the community also as far as healthy lifestyle. And thank all of you too with your encouraging stuff. So get healthy with your neighbor and friends and your family. You'll last longer, and your family will thank you for it. Thank you.
Commissioner McCool and Councilmember Sell, thank you both for putting yourselves out there. That takes guts, and I admire the both of you for doing that, and let's give them a hand. Dana, your stuff.
Don't want anybody to have a badge.
And while she gets that, the next item on our agenda is a proclamation for First Responders Appreciation Day. The First Methodist Church of DeLand requests the City of Deltona and all communities in West Volusia join in and proclaim Saturday, March 5th as First Responders Appreciation Day to acknowledge the outstanding job of our first responders. So I'm going to come down, and if our first responders in the room would please come on up. First of all, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Sheriff Chitwood, for coming out to Deltona for this. We appreciate it. So, whereas individuals, both career and volunteer, from police, fire, emergency, medical services, search and rescue, and other organizations in the public safety sector come together as first responders to aid the public in the event of an emergency, and whereas first responders are highly trained, specialized workers who contribute their skills for the public good, and whereas first responders responders risk their own safety and personal property in the execution of their duties to protect the public every day, and whereas first responders are the first line of defense for the public against all threats, both domestic and foreign, and whereas first responders are a vital part of our communities, standing ready 24 hours a day to deal with emergencies and volunteering in our schools and community organizations. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and the City Commission of the City of Deltona, Florida, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim Saturday, March 5th, 2022 as First Responders Appreciation Day in Deltona, executed this 21st day of February 2022. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, citizens, the mayor, of course, and all the commissioners there. I just want to say it's great to live in an area that supports our first responders 24/7, whether it's a municipality to the citizens. And it's just great that we have such a fine establishment that does this. In the past at our church, we would do a first responders breakfast. This year, of course, with COVID, we can't do that. We opted to do things differently. So what are we doing? We're taking the celebration to them this year, to all 31 of them in West Volusia. So we're just thankful, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to do this for you and honor you. So thank you once again.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. All I want to say is it is a tough job, and we just appreciate it when people step up to thank us like this. It really means a lot. It just really means a lot. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I just want to say that Captain McDaniel and myself were out at the 500 yesterday, and when we were driving around, we started talking about Deltona and what an honor it is to serve this community. You folks here are incredible. The support we get from the commission, you can't ask for a better place to live and to work. So thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're still going to get a free breakfast, right?
Okay, the last presentation we have this evening is Councilmember Fred Lowry, District 5. He is going to go ahead and talk about the Howland Boulevard construction delay. And you also have brought someone with you, if you'd like to introduce them.
Yes, I'm glad I don't have to weigh in before I do this. So anyway, it's good to see everybody this evening. I know I was here, I think last fall or summer one time, and said Howland Boulevard would be done by the first of the year. Obviously, it's not done, and so I've had some people in the community asking me, and I thought it would be best just to bring our professor of engineering, Todd Casbier, over and let him explain. There have been a couple holdups, and let him explain so it's on public record and so forth. And so if you got any questions, you can rock the Casbier.
Not my best introduction. But, good evening, Tad Casbier, County Engineer. Howland Boulevard, as you know, we'd love to have had it done by December of last year. Unfortunately, we had some delays working with the power company. FPL has some poles, as you know, through that corridor, and on the east end around the Austin area, we have some issues. We have some stormwater pipe that we need to put in underground fairly close to where those poles are located, and you don't want to just go dig a hole next to the pole and have the pole fall in. So we've been working through different methods to go ahead and secure the pole during the construction of that trunk line, and unfortunately it's just taken longer to get it through the power company and get them on board with it. We do have that taken care of now. We do expect that over the next few months that you'll see quite a bit more activity than you've seen lately. We have been steadily working on the project. There's been work at the stormwater ponds, as well as waiting for a clearance on the water main for Volusia County's utilities on the west end. So we are making steady progress. The current projection is that we would be complete in June of this year. We should be open to 4 lanes well before that, but there's usually a month or two after that that we have to get some cleanup items done, sod laid, those types of things that won't affect the ability of the road to pass traffic up and down the section. So love to answer any questions you might have.
Commissioners, any questions? Was that Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for coming out and giving us an update on this. As you know and probably heard, Holland Boulevard has been a very dangerous road lately for us here in Deltona. The fact that there is so much construction going on and the dividers being put out there, giving very limited space for our cars to drive by, it's intimidating. So we hope that we can see this construction coming to an end pretty soon and make our drivers feel a little safer driving down that road. I hate to repeat the names that Howland Boulevard is being called right now, but we look forward to the county to please do the best you can to complete the construction on Howland Boulevard.
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Thank you.
Commissioner McCool?
And I would voice our Vice Mayor's sentiments here and ask that when the both of you leave, that you step back and speak with Chris Valdez, who is the brother of Andy Valdez, who was killed on Howland Boulevard, and speak to that family and talk to them and hear how this is impacting. I understand delays, but I just want you to speak with them because listen, it needs attention, right? And I just want to convey the seriousness of that, the dangerousness, the nature of that highway. They're sitting in the back, the very back row, and as a community, we need to support them right now. I know that he will be speaking in public comments, so we need to support that family, and I would like for you to speak with them before you leave as our representative. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Bradford?
Echo the same thing. Not going to go too much into it, and I was going to bring that up today. I mean, I drive that road every day, and what I don't see are the construction zone speed limit signs. So I believe the family was out there today, probably family and friends this evening, reminding people that the speed limit's 35 and it is a construction zone. So I don't know, maybe that would help if we could get some safety signs out there and some speed zones. I mean, you're talking June, it's coming up, but we can't risk another one. So is that something you guys can work on, maybe getting the construction traffic zone signs up, and whatever we have to do, maybe work with the sheriff, maybe they can bring one of our speed signs that kind of show how fast they're going, do something to encourage the reduction of speed in that area so that we don't have any more fatalities. That would be awesome.
Sure, we can look at it.
And I understand it wasn't in a cross, I get all that, but they do drive crazy down the road still.
Okay. Commissioner King?
So I'd like to change just a little bit. I think we're good. We got to finish up Howland Boulevard, but I'd like to see you speak to future projects that the county is going to be doing in Deltona. Howland Boulevard we're grateful to have that one almost completed. It's going to be wonderful when it's done. Lake Helen Osteen Road is awful, and it's been awful for years, and we get excited because we see a little patch of road up by 44 down to Lake Helen completed, and we're thinking, oh great, it's going to come on down and we're going to finally get this road fixed. It stops, nothing else is done. Same thing with Providence. We get a piece of Providence done, the rest of it doesn't get done. And it's just not only that, but if I'm not mistaken, about a year or two ago, we gave up money for a road project that we had planned so we could give it back to the county so that they could do the roundabout over by Cabbage Patch. I go by there, there's not a thing done, but we don't have our money. So my question is, what are the projects that we're going to see soon? We should be seeing something. Can you speak to that?
Certainly. We obviously we've got the Howland project, which is the biggest one that we've been working on recently in this area. We do also have some plans. Providence should have been resurfaced the entire length, basically from all the way down at the south end and Doyle all the way up to the north end, minus the portions at the intersection, which will be done as a part of the Howland project. But all of that should have been resurfaced with maybe a few small exceptions where the pavement wasn't good enough quality. So, that was just done this year with our resurfacing money. We get a certain amount of money for resurfacing. We evaluate all the roads across the county, and then there's basically a formula that's looked at for a lot of it. Factors in both the pavement condition as well as the traffic counts in that particular section. And we put together the priority list for resurfacing that year. Our road and bridge group is the one that oversees resurfacing as of now, so I'd have to check with them to see exactly where Lake Helen Osteen Road would be in terms of resurfacing. I'm certain you're not asking for it to be widened in that particular section. You just really have it resurfaced, and they would handle that. If the scores are bad enough, and I've driven that road recently, they should be in that next batch or the year after that overall. So,
thank you.
Yep.
Commissioner McCool?
I just want to follow up. If that's the case and you're riding the roads, I would request that you ride down Normandy by Fort Smith. I'm not sure how many vehicles have had to be resurfaced or, serviced after that, but it's pretty bad too. So
Normandy's not a city, it's a city, right?
Is it
It's city.
Okay.
Yeah, Normandy's
Mr.
us,
Peters?
and it's on the list.
Mr. Peters.
We're innocent of that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Lowry, for coming out.
Madam Mayor, if I can interject one thing.
Sure.
You all were talking about safety and speed. A couple weeks ago, the Sheriff's Department did a major traffic enforcement out there, and in one day they had 72 speeding citations. So speeding is a problem, and we will continue the enforcement out there until people get the message. So I just want to let y'all know that is an ongoing effort.
Thank you very much. Okay. Next on our agenda are ordinances and public hearings. First on the agenda is number 6A, and ordinance number 01-2022, rezoning request, RZ 21-0006 for a give or take 19.84 acre tract from single family classification R1 to residential planned unit development RPUD. Mr. Paradise.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. City Commission, Ron Paradise, Director, Community Services, City of Deltona.
Ron, can you just do me a favor and pull that mic a little closer?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Ron
Exactly.
Paradise, City of Deltona, Community Services Director for the record. Ordinance number 01-2022 involves a request to rezone 19.84 acres located off the Parma Drive corridor, situated in the northeastern section of the city, referred to as the Island Walk North project. Rezoning requests like this are quasi-judicial hearings. However, before we open the meeting, please be advised the applicant has requested a continuance. The continuance was requested to review and analyze recommendations of the Volusia Soil and Water Conservation District Resolution 2022-3 regarding the project. The commission has been sent a copy of that resolution and associated recommendations. Staff suggests incorporating elements of this resolution will materially alter the project parameters and recommends the City Commission grant the continuance and also remand the application back to the Planning and Zoning Board so it can be fully vetted when it is otherwise updated and retooled. I'll be happy to field any questions y'all may have with regard to
Commissioner
this.
Ramos.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And speaking, well, we all received the email today, and speaking to our city manager today, I make a motion for continuance and remand back to the P&Z board.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor made by Commissioner Ramos for a continuation and a remand back to P&Z. And I'm sorry, was that Commissioner Bradford? Did you second that? Or Commissioner Sosa, which I think she did first, and seconded by Commissioner Bradford. When we do this item, there is no further discussion on that. Am I correct, Marcia? So we have a motion on the floor and a second. May we vote, please?
Madam Mayor, I thought you meant like discussion like it was a public hearing.
Right, that's what I mean. But there's no one else on the board.
I mean, the board members can address this if they
But
wish.
there's no one has, I'm talking about
Okay.
public comment.
Okay, all right.
And the motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Paradise. We will move on to the next item on the agenda. Number 7, old business. We have none. Number 8, new business. 8A, review and discussion of recommendations for the Charter Review Committee, presented by the Charter Review Committee Chair, Pat Northey.
Good evening, Madam.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor. Could we just wait a moment?
Yes.
Because I'm having a hard time hearing.
Yeah, it's is it, I mean, it's like
not
the
just
mic
you.
is really, really bad tonight. It's really hard to understand up here.
It's not you, Pat.
It's not you. It's been everybody that's been up there. So.
Okay. Is that better if I speak louder? Okay. All right. It's very crowded up here, you guys. No.
I think okay. Let's let that get straightened out first.
I swear I'm
That's
not
what we all
touching
screaming.
it. All right. Am I go?
I think so.
All right. So, Madam Mayor and City Commissioners, I am here before you tonight as Chair of the Charter Review Committee and joined by other members and alternates to submit our final report and to answer any questions you might have. I would ask committee members and alternates that are here to please rise for just a moment so the Deltona Commission is aware of who from the committee is able to join us tonight. Vice Chair Nobick sends his regrets at not being able to be here. He recently had surgery and he's resting at home quite comfortably. In addition to Vice Chair Nobick, I want to extend my personal thanks as chair to committee member Phyllis Allen. I think Phyllis is here. Elbert Bryan, I think Elbert's in the back. Don Philpott, and if any of you know Don, you know he is a stickler, and he was the one who kept us straight and kept our copious notes and was our unofficial record keeper. So thank you, Don, for that. Marisol Ortiz Morales is here. And Jeff Brower snuck in. And it's not the Jeff Brower from the county. It's our very own Jeff Brower. So thank you all. Thank you for coming tonight. It was a great group of Deltona citizens to work with a strong desire to serve the city. We had some lively discussion among committee members, including the alternates who engaged equally with the committee members in debate. We wanted all ideas and positions to be heard and vetted. I also want to acknowledge and thank the great work that your staff did to make that job much easier. I am grateful for Rocky Anastasio, who kept us on time with a countdown for our audio feed and provided for our video feed and provided for our audio needs. The meetings were uploaded to the DTV Facebook page and YouTube, and while I don't know what that viewership was, Rocky was there at each meeting to ensure the meeting was recorded properly. So thank you, Rocky. And of course, Joyce Rafferty, your terrific city clerk, from her extensive history of the city and the charter to the excellent work she did in keeping our minutes and providing for meeting materials. Joyce was a resource we came to rely on very much, so thank you, Joyce. I also want to note that your city manager's office was ably represented by Deputy Manager Stacy, there she is, Stacy Kefalo. So thank you, Ms. Kefalo. And Mr. Fowler, your city attorney, assigned us attorney Jamie Seaman to guide us through the legal questions and outcomes of our charter discussions. I had the honor of working with Ms. Seaman when she was a deputy attorney for Volusia County, and I was a county council member. And I can say unequivocally that Jamie is the smartest woman I know, and I was pleased to once again have the opportunity to work with her. So thank you, Jamie. She's shy. As stated in the letter attached to the report, we met 13 times since our appointments in July. We reviewed the charter in its entirety, line by line. Our meetings were open to the public, with a special thanks to staff for their help in getting the word out through news releases and social media that we were meeting, and we encouraged the public to attend and share their thoughts and ideas. The report, as presented to you tonight, contains 5 charter items for your consideration to carry forward to the ballot. It is our collective hope as a committee that you will not pick and choose what amendments you move forward, but that you move our body of work in total to the ballot and allow the voters to vote the amendments up or down. To do otherwise sends a chilling message that the committee's role in reviewing the charter was not valued. And while your legal counsel has opined that you have final say in what is placed on the ballot, most governments in this state, including Volusia County, do not debate the work of their charter review commissions, but send the amendments directly to the ballot. We hope that you will do that as well. Finally, I want to tell you that the report as presented to you tonight was voted on and approved by unanimous consent with no dissent or minority report discussed or attached to it. We would have discussed that if it had come forward, if there was one that had come forward, but it's come to you clean. It was the committee's pleasure to serve the citizens of Deltona in a review of their charter. I know I speak for the entire committee when I say thank you for the opportunity to serve in this important role. And we leave that now in your hands, and if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them, but I think I'm not going to go through the report because you've got a copy of it.
Thank you, Pat. And commissioners, we are here today to accept the report as presented by the Charter Review Committee. And then our next item on the agenda will be a request for approval to sunset the Charter Review Committee. So the question that I have for you, do you have any additional work that you would like the Charter Review Committee to address before we accept this report in its entirety and then sunset the committee? That is what we're here to discuss tonight, because we as a commission need to move this to a workshop to discuss.
You have two public
everything.
hearings too that are required, so I understand if you want to sine die the committee, but
Yes.
I'm sure that if during your discussions in workshop or your discussions in the public hearings, if you would like somebody from the committee to attend, I'm sure that we'd be happy to do that, to discuss with the public how we arrived at the recommendations.
Absolutely, and no matter whether the commission adds on additional amendments to this or not, this has to go through an ordinance, it has to go through a two-reading process.
Right.
And so the commission needs to workshop this and then look at a timeline for presenting an ordinance for two readings for public input. So commissioners, do we have any comments for the committee? Seeing none, we would need a motion to approve.
So Madam Mayor, I'm very sorry. I couldn't get back to my button, so I apologize. I would like to add comment, please.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to thank each and every one of our members that sat through these weeks of debating and thinking thoroughly and thoughtfully about how we need to move forward as a city. I'm encouraged by the dialogue. I am happy with the work that you did. It's really, really appreciated because that's what we talk about. How do we move forward with our city? We've had strategic plannings, and I think that this gives the public a chance to see that we're serious about moving forward in a positive manner. So I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your work, taking time out of your life to do this. Thank you all very much.
It was our honor to do this. I think I would speak for the whole group, and we really worked hard at our job, and it was a good committee. You should be real proud of this committee. So,
Okay. Vice Mayor and then Commissioner Bradford.
Thank you, Mayor. So I also want to thank the board for putting all this time to put this together. I have to say that I did watch a few of the videos live, and I have to congratulate the professionalism that was taken during these conversations, going back and forth, and how respectfully everyone agreed to disagree and then finally come to an agreement on how things should be done. So thank you for that. Should I make a motion? Or? Mayor, so do I make the motion as is stated here, or do you want me to add the workshop on it?
No, just accept this. We can have a discussion
Okay.
on a workshop.
So I move to approve the proposed recommendations presented by the Charter Review Committee and move to forward with the ordinance to place the charter amendments on the general election ballot.
Maritza, Vice Mayor, add after a city commission workshop. Do you recommend we add that on there? After a city commission, just put that on the end.
And I also, to add to the proposed recommendations, that we also take this up at a city commission workshop.
Okay, properly moved by Vice Mayor Villa-Vasquez, seconded by Commissioner Bradford. Commissioner Bradford, are you still on the board? Okay, then we'll go ahead. Yes, we're going to go ahead and, is there anyone signed up for public comment for this item?
Yes, Mayor. Kathy Bryan, please.
Thank you.
Good evening, Kathy Bryan, Deltona, Florida. I'll probably limit my comments since we're going to have other meetings that have public forum with them. I didn't realize that there would not be a discussion about this. I think, never mind, I'm just going to wait, because when public forum comes, I have quite a few things that I'd like to bring up and make the commission think about, and so with that.
And we'll have a workshop before.
Yes,
that'll have public
I'll try to
comment.
go to that too, so, okay, I'll see you in public forum.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Okay, that closes the public comment portion of the hearing. We have a motion and a second on the floor. May we vote, please? And the motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Charter Review Committee, for your hard work, your effort, and your time. We truly appreciate you spending your time to do all of this and prepare a report. Thank you. Okay, next we will have item B, request for approval to sunset the Charter Review Committee. And before we move to that, Marcia, when we go ahead and sunset the committee, just to be clear, that does not prevent individual members or the board to come to our workshop, and we can, we're not addressing them as a board, we're addressing them as board members. So even if the committee is sunsetted, we are free to do that, and they are free to come and speak?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry.
I just want to clarify that. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so this item would be sunsetting the Charter Review Committee. And I'm sorry, Commissioner Ramos.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's no questions or concern. I move to sunset Charter Review Committee. The acting city manager has the authority to correct certain errors and the like.
Properly moved by Commissioner Ramos. Who seconded it? Vice Mayor? Okay, is there any member from the public that signed up for this item?
Mayor.
Then we'll close the public comment portion of the hearing. Commissioner Bradford.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I do have a question. If we sunset the committee, but then we have a workshop and like individuals have legitimate questions and concerns and it goes back to the committee, we can't take it back to the committee for any minor changes or something, correct?
If that is something any of you are interested in, then I would suggest that you not sunset till after your workshop.
I mean, we just, I think it's great, but I guess my concern is if when we have a workshop, if there's anything else brought up that you guys can even take back with you, if we sunset it too soon, we're not going to be able to do that. To me, it's saying, okay, it's great as it is, so if that's the case, why even have a workshop? Because that means you don't plan on making any changes. So if we have a workshop and we have input from the residents, and even they say, oh, wow, I didn't think of that, how do we go back? Then we got to go back through and redo a whole committee again?
Jamie, did you want to address it?
Jamie Seaman with the firm of Fowler Feeney. You all as commission have the ability to put out your own amendments. You don't have to have the charter review for that. By state law, you by ordinance can, before any general election, put an amendment for the charter. Any Scrivener's errors, mistakes, issues in the ballot language or the ballot question, as the city manager has pointed out, can be corrected through this process. The only reason why you would not adjourn the Charter Review Committee would be if you want them to look at additional issues, that you want them as a committee to review them as opposed to you all as a separate city commission making those decisions.
And I guess my concern is we don't know that because we've never had a workshop on it. So we have a workshop and another resident or somebody brings up a great valid point. how do we send it back to them? Because I feel more comfortable. I think they did an awesome job. I watched the videos as well. And, just like Vice Mayor said, very professional, very well done. And if we have a workshop and say, oh, let's, by any reason, add something to it, we're back to reassigning that's just a personal opinion. I don't think it should be sunsetted till after the workshop. That's my personal opinion.
It's totally up to this board whether or not you think you may refer something back to the Charter Review Committee, or whether you think they have completed their work and any other issues you want to address yourselves.
So your board has presented 5 amendments.
Correct.
That are in the proposal.
Correct.
If the commission chooses to add amendments to this that they have not touched on,
you may do so.
We can do that, absolutely. So the verbiage on these amendments are relatively simple. So it is whether or not the commission, because what you're looking at is if you want to have a workshop on these amendments and have the public speak on those, that is what we're here for tonight.
On the proposed, yes.
On the proposed amendments, that is what the public participation is for here this evening on these amendments. Any other amendments that the commission would want as a body to bring forth would be vetted through our workshop, and then all of them would be put on the ordinance, in an ordinance that would have 2 readings.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Commissioner Bradford, what I'm hearing is that you might want to change the verbiage in something that they produced.
No, what I'm saying is, we've already had one resident come up and say, hey, I've got items, but I'm going to wait until you have a workshop to bring them up. So if there's anybody else who may have so many ideas or whatever, now we're saying, oh, well, if we want to make changes, we can just do it ourselves. So to me, that's almost saying, hey, let's bypass that committee again, just in case. I'm not saying, I thought it was great. It had a great input. I thought it was well written. But what we're saying is, we don't care what the public thinks. We're just going to approve this, and we'll just change what we want. I don't know. That's just how I'm interpreting it. Maybe that's just me interpreting it.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Ramos.
I don't understand what the rush is to sunset it if we're going to have a workshop, and it doesn't matter if we sunset it now or we sunset it after a workshop. I'm trying to understand what's the 911 to sunset it. We may not need them again, but we may. I'm just saying.
Do I have it? Commissioner Bradford, I would have to disagree that we're not allowing the public to comment, because all these hearings were open to the public, and they had an opportunity to speak in reference to what was going on. And if I hear it correctly, Mayor, this is also an evening where if individuals have any concerns of these, they can speak as well. So I don't think that by sunsetting them, we're telling the residents, we don't want to hear from you. How many meetings did they held and were open for the public to be able to have conversations exactly about this? Because if not, I would say we're just going to continue to go back and forth. I think this is what they're producing, and then we have an opportunity as a dais to look at this and say yay or nay, or even add to, because at the end of the day, it falls. I'll tell you, when the Charter Review Committee first started, they reached out to me. And I said to them, I don't want to say anything because it's their responsibility to bring whatever they feel is needed. Because at the end of the day, it's still going to come to this dais. So if there's something here that's missing that I might feel strong about, then that's the opportunity that we have. But that's why I didn't speak to them in reference to what I feel should be in the charter, because for me, this is why we had a committee, for them to work on what they felt and what the residents felt during that time.
Hang on, Commissioner Bradford, I'm going to let her speak, and then I'm going to try to clarify this.
Thank you, Mayor. So what I'm understanding from this is that, and from, the chair's opening remarks, was that we're accepting what they recommended or what they have presented to us, but it doesn't stop us from adding something from our side. Is that correct? But we are to accept, you're expecting us to accept what you represented to us. We shouldn't change it because this is what we ask you to look into. So we should accept what we asked you to bring to us, but it doesn't restrict us from adding something from our part. If the residents come up with something, it should be something from the commissioner's side, not to interfere with what the board presented to us. Am I correct? And the chair nods yes. Thank you. I just wanted to understand that. Thank you.
So, Commissioner Bradford, is your concern with the wording on the 5 things that they've brought forward, or is your concern with bringing another item forward, like another idea?
Right, another, let's say we have a workshop, and we get individuals that come up and speak and throw some ideas out there, and we're like, you know what, that's a great idea. I think at that point, they've done such a great job, they would be the ones to say, you know, that's when we would say, hey, you know what, can you guys look into this? And it may not happen. It may be that we don't have any problem whatsoever, everybody's happy with it, and then we sunset it. I'm just trying to figure out what's the 911 on sunsetting it tonight. I mean, I'm not the only one. I see nods out there that if somebody brings something up and they've got questions, I just feel they have a right, and why should it come back to us? We've got a wonderful committee who did everything right. I mean, they were at meetings, very professional, and conducted it. So we have a resident who brings something up that maybe that committee didn't, and I understand people could have showed up, but I guarantee now that we've got this, you're going to have more people going, oh, wow, I didn't know this was going on. Now I want to be there. I want to see why do they feel this and why do they feel that? And I don't know. I'm not understanding the 911. I'm sunsetting it, but that's just me. That doesn't mean everybody has their own opinion.
Before we go on, the last time we did this, I don't know if anyone was on this dais, the last charter review committee that we had. The last time we did that, we did the same type of selection. And the commission weighed in on what they were looking at. With this one, the commission has not weighed in at all, has not made any recommendations. From what I can see, the commission has not made any recommendations of what they felt they want to change in the charter. That is what our workshop is for, to see if the commission feels strongly about an issue, which I can't think of anything right offhand, but the commission may feel that there's a topic that's not addressed in these 5 questions, and then the commission would go through the same process that they went through, having a discussion about an item that we would like to bring forth on the ballot that would be a change to the charter. Am I correct in that, Marcia?
Yes.
Okay, so I mean...
And then would it go back to us, or
No, we have the final say.
But I mean, we wouldn't say, hey, do you guys want to go discuss this and like you did the rest of the other 5? No.
No, because what Jamie was saying is that if we have any concerns or sending any other ideas that we want to send back, or any concerns that they would have to do more work, that was the topic right before we approved these 5, correct, ma'am? I mean, we don't have to sunset the committee, but now to go ahead and not sunset it and then send more work back to them, can you talk about that?
You have either option. You may either sunset them and then address any new issues yourselves, or you may leave them in place and any new issues brought by the citizens, send them back. Now, I will say, having sat through all the hearings with them, Marcia did the first few, and then I did the remainder of them. They went through the charter from section 1 through section 11. They went through line by line by line of the charter. And they did have public participation. They had some questions and some folks coming to raise some issues. But these were the 5 recommendations they brought to you. They voted down several things that they considered, and they chose not to present those. It's your decision either way. I don't want to tell you you have to do it. You can either choose to hold a workshop and then send some things back and let them hold some meetings on those and make a recommendation, or you can sunset them and address any remaining issues yourselves.
So the last thing that I would like to bring up before we do anything else is a time frame. These need to go to the supervisor of elections by June. No?
August.
By August.
August. Which is why the committee wanted to get it to you all, because then for you to get it on your calendars and then hold the public hearings that are necessary.
I mean, we're looking at 3 meetings right now, a workshop and 2 meetings for the ordinance approval. So those 3 are that we're having right now. And the commission needs to decide tonight and look at a timeline, because if we don't want to sunset that committee, we need to have a workshop and then go ahead and look at timing to send something, if that's your wish, to send it back to that committee, because then they've got to have another committee meeting, vet it, and bring it forth again. So you're looking, I mean, we need to look at the time frame to make sure that we have everything done and the 2 readings done in enough time to get this on the ballot, because otherwise it's worthless.
Madam Mayor, I was going to suggest you could table it, and that way they're still there if you take them off the table. You know, so if it turns out as you go through the process that there is something that you then, feel needs to go back to the committee, then you take it off the table and you still have them. And, and assuming it all fits in the timeline. If not, then you don't. But that way that you're not making that decision to sunset them tonight, and it may become clearer as you move toward the workshop, as all of you are thinking about this. And also, the city manager is going to have to work on this timeline to make sure everything's done accordingly. So it leaves the option available for you to pick up, at a later date. That's what I would suggest. So you're not sunsetting them, you're putting it on the table, and that way it's available depending on what happens.
Commissioner Bradford and then Commissioner McCool.
Yeah, I guess my thinking is this, and it's not to be a difficult commissioner up here, but you mentioned it. That charter review committee went through that charter. You guys know it probably frontwards and backwards. You've discussed items, you've kicked items out, you kicked them around, right? I'm going to say, what if we have residents come to the workshop, bring some great ideas up, and we're sitting up here in the whim going, yeah, that sounds great. Meanwhile, if we kick it back to them, it could be something that they've already discussed, they've looked into, they've got their notes on it. I just feel that they are, at this point, more qualified to handle suggestions and comments and go back through notes and look that up than we are. I don't know the charter review probably as good as they know the charter review at this point. So I guess that's my feeling, is I don't feel comfortable. It's not the items that's here, it's the possible add-on and suggestions that we may get from the public. And by just sunsetting it and saying, hey, it's closed out, it is what it is, and I get, Commissioner Ramos is saying, oh, they had an opportunity, but some people, they don't follow and understand that it's going through. I guarantee once it's posted in the Beacon and they realize something's going to be put on the ballot, they're going to take a better interest in it. So that's just my opinion again. I just feel more comfortable with these guys. Right now, I see them as being the pro after watching them, and they know that charter better than I do. And I feel more comfortable sending it back to them and saying, what do you guys think of them wanting to add this on? What was y'all's discussion and opinion?
Commissioner McCool?
I would like to hear what the city manager has to say about this also.
The simple fact is the city attorney, both city attorneys have said you have now 3 options. You can sunset, you can not, or you can table. Not and tabling, and basically it's the same result. If you go back and watch the videos of the meetings, read the minutes of the meetings, they were very thorough in what they reviewed. I would be hard-pressed to believe that there would be something that would come from the public that they did not discuss in some fashion during the process. I was very impressed with the level of interest that they showed. And so If it was up to me, and obviously I put it on the agenda, so I felt that it was appropriate to go ahead and sunset the committee because they did such a thorough job. As the mayor indicated, you all did not give them specific things to look at. You wanted them to take a broad view of the whole charter, which they did a very good job of on your behalf. So my recommendation would be to go ahead and proceed with sunsetting the committee.
Okay, is there anyone's public comment on this item?
No, Mayor.
Okay, we'll close the public comment portion of the hearing on that. So Commissioner Ramos, you have a motion on the floor to sunset, seconded by the Vice Mayor. That motion is on the floor. So you've heard now, Commissioners, the other options. You have a choice if this motion to sunset fails, to table or to not disband the committee until after we have our workshop and get ready for the ordinance. So Commissioner Ramos and Vice Mayor, do you want to go ahead? We have the motion and the second on the floor to sunset. Would you vote on that, or would you like to change your vote motion? Okay, call the vote, please, for sunsetting the committee. And the motion passes 6-1 to sunset. This is Charter Review Committee, and committee members, thank you very much, and we will make sure that the city clerk's office or Sandy and Sharon let you know when the workshops and ordinance hearings are scheduled, please, for any input that you may have on what we discuss. We really appreciate it. Yes, ma'am. Sir, I'm sorry.
I would make one suggestion. I think we need a consensus from the commission. Typically, our workshops have a 2-hour limit. I believe this is one that we do not want to have a 2-hour limit. So if you all can give me consensus that we will put it out, waiving the 2-hour time limit for the workshop so that we can get a robust discussion.
Commissioner King? You don't have to stay the 2 hours. I'm with you on that. Commissioner McCool? Yeah. Yes, yes. Commissioner Bradford? Extend the timing. Commissioner Sosa. And Commissioner McCool, you were on the board. Are you still? No? Okay. Okay, City Manager, you have the, Mr. Peters, you have the approval to make this a longer than normal workshop. Thank you very much. And again, thank you everyone for coming out. We appreciate all your hard work. Okay, we'll go to item C, request to extend the mutual aid agreement with Volusia County for another 5 years. Chief Snyder. Looking into the future, 5 years.
Hi. Thank you very much. Here tonight we have the mutual aid agreement between the cities and the county fire departments here in Volusia County. This is a mutual aid agreement that's been around since 2006. Every 5 years we need to renew it, and basically what it does is allows us to call for help should we have any of those large-scale incidents where we have used up all of our resources and we need help from another agency to do that. So that's basically it in a nutshell, and I'll take any questions.
Okay, Commissioners, any questions for the Chief? Vice Mayor?
If there aren't any questions, I'd like to make a motion. I move to extend the mutual aid agreement with Volusia County for another 5 years. The acting city manager has the authority to correct scrivener's errors and the like.
Second.
Okay, we have the motion properly made by Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez, seconded by Commissioner Ramos. Is there anyone that signed up from the general public to speak on this item?
No, Mayor.
That closes the public comment portion of the hearing. Before we vote, Chief Snyder, what no more than this morning was that very evidenced with mutual aid, with the multiple things that were going on the scanner in DeBerry and here, where all the surrounding areas responded to one or another. So just one morning of listening to that, absolutely solidifies this. So thank you, and thank your entire team.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second. May we vote, please? Motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, request to award hurricane/impact resistant doors contract to AG Pfeiffer. Yes, sir.
Okay, so back in early 2020, we got a hazard mitigation grant here in the city to harden 3 of our steel buildings, the Butler-type buildings, which is Station 64, which is the Public Works and the water facility. We put together a scope of work to do that hardening, which was approved. We did the work, and then when we were inspected, the inspectors came back and said that there was a few more things that we needed to do to completely harden those buildings. The original work was to replace the roll-up bay dyke doors, to harden, to strengthen the roof area, and to add shutters to a majority of the buildings. When we were inspected, it came back that we still had a little bit more work to do to completely harden those buildings. What's on the agenda for you to approve here tonight is some doors. These are hurricane-rated doors that will help strengthen that building some more. There's also 2 other things that they looked at, which is louvers, and they needed some more shutters on a few more of the windows on one of the buildings, or a couple of the buildings. So tonight, because of the $25,000 limit, we're here for the doors. Wanted to put the louvers and the other shutters in your packet so that I can be completely transparent on the total amount of work that needs to be done. But because of purchasing procedures, the $25,000 is what you're here to approve tonight for the hurricane rated doors. And the total for those doors is $32,450. And we will, this is a 75-25 grant, so once we've completed the work, we can submit the grant and we will receive 75% of that back.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chief. Commissioners, any comments for the Chief? If there are no comments, we need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion. I move to award hurricane impact resistant doors contract to AG Pfeiffer. The acting city manager has the authority to make corrections of scrivener's errors and the like.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, properly moved by Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez, seconded by Commissioner Sosa. Is there any member for the public that signed up to speak on this item?
No, Mayor.
And we'll close the public comment portion of the hearing. May we vote, please? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to the next item, is a contract request for approval to expend no more than $40,000 in State of Florida Finance Corporation SHIP funds for owner-occupied repair project located at 2390 Moonstone Avenue. Mr. Paradise, we have 3 of these in a row with SHIP funding, correct?
That is correct, and the reason why is all these requests involve expenditures beyond $25,000 limit, and this does involve SHIP funds dispersed to the city by the Florida Housing Finance Corporation. The city is an entitlement community, and a good portion of the money that we do get from the SHIP funds is spent on a program known as owner-occ rehabilitation. It allows people to stay in their houses, perhaps age in place, and it also improves the housing stock within the city. The first one is located at 2390 Moonstone Drive. This project, we have an estimate, the low bid through a non-qualified process is $33,675, requesting the City Commission approve or authorize city staff to expend no more than $40,000 on this particular dwelling unit.
Okay, Commissioners, do you have any comments for Mr. Paradise on this? If you have no comments, we need a motion for approval or denial.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move to direct staff to move forward with owner-occupied rehabilitation for the dwelling at 2390 Moonstone Avenue with an estimate of $33,675, not to exceed $40,000, utilizing Florida Housing Finance Corporation SHIP funds. The acting city manager has the authority to make corrections of scrivener's errors and the like.
Okay, properly moved by Commissioner McCool, seconded by Commissioner Bradford. For approval, is there any member of the public that signed up to speak on this item? Liz?
No, Mayor.
And we'll close the public comment portion of the hearing. So we have a motion and a second. May we vote, please? Motion passes 7-0. We'll move on to the next one. It is a request for approval to expend no more than $40,000 in the State of Florida Finance Corporation SHIP funds for occupied repair project located at 1165 Cambridge Street. Mr. Paradise?
Again, we have another owner-occupied rehabilitation project that exceeds the $25,000 limit. This does involve the expenditure of SHIP funds allocated to the city. We have a quote for $37,000 in rehabilitation, asking that the City Commission authorize no more than $40,000 be expended on this property at 1165 Cambridge Street.
Okay, Commissioners, we need a motion for approval or denial.
I'll make a motion. I hereby move to direct staff to move forward with the owner-occupied rehabilitation for the dwelling at 1165 Cambridge Street with an estimate of $37,000, not to exceed $40,000, utilizing Florida Housing Finance Corporation SHIP funds. The acting city manager has the authority to make corrections of scrivener's and errors and the like.
Okay, properly moved by Commissioner Sosa, seconded by Commissioner Bradford. Commissioner Bradford, you're on the board. Did you have a question on this?
No, I actually was on the board to make a motion. I'm sorry.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public that signed up to speak for this?
No, Mayor.
Then we'll close the public comment portion of this hearing. May we vote, please? Everything disappeared? It was unanimous, 7-0. Okay, and we'll move on to the last one, which is a request for approval to expend no more than $40,000 in State of Florida Finance Corporation SHIP funds for owner-occupied repair project located at 106 Highland Drive.
Again, we have another owner-occupied rehabilitation project. We have a bid of $27,250, requesting the City Commission to authorize to expend no more than $40,000 in SHIP funds on the project and property located at 106 Highland Drive.
And Commissioner Bradford.
I hereby move to direct staff to move forward with owner-occupied rehabilitation for dwelling at 106 Highland Drive with an estimate of $27,250, not to exceed $40,000, utilizing Florida Housing Finance Corporation SHIP funds. The acting city manager has the authority to make scrivener errors of the like. Can I ask a real quick question? I just noticed that. Why are we going up to $40,000 on this from 27?
We just want some freeboard there, and we kind of just looked at a $40,000 threshold across all three projects.
Okay, yeah, because that's 13. I mean, the other ones, it was close, but this one's a $13,000 difference.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit high. And I will say most of these budgets were right in line. Happy to see that.
Second. Okay, properly moved by Commissioner Bradford, seconded by Commissioner Ramos. Is there anyone from the public signed up to comment on this item?
No, Mayor.
And we'll close the public comment portion of the hearing. May we vote, please? And the motion passes 7-0. Next item is public forum. Liz, if you would read those people that have signed up for public forum, can come forward.
Okay, Billy Fowler and Kathy Bryan. Billy Fowler, please.
Good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
I'm here to speak on roofing. As y'all know, our insurance is going up. As you know, some of the insurance companies is pulling our way out of Florida. Their main issue is roofings. I got pictures right here to where the installation of a pipe vent on top of a house, roof vent, properly installed all over Florida. I have here the instructions how it is to be done. And when Steve was here, we was working on, getting it to find out why it couldn't be done. But I got shingles out there in a wheelbarrow. I wasn't allowed to bring a wheelbarrow in. They said it was safety issues. But yeah, when somebody got to pay the water bill, they can wheelbarrow with money right on in the wheelbarrow. And I wasn't able to bring it in here to show improper nailing of an architect's shingle, which I would like to show and have y'all look at. And by a general nothing personal against a general contractor. I am a retired contractor out of South Carolina, 44 years. I think it's a conflict of interest when a general contractor does the work, will have the work done, and then signs off on an affidavit stating that it's put on right. That's conflict of interest. Because the way I come up with it, I was a home inspector to start off with. Then I become a home builder. I could go out and do the inspections, but I couldn't do the work. So they said it was conflict of interest. So I think that Deltona needs to come up with a situation that the roofs can be inspected. As I understand, they said they don't have the liability insurance to cover the man go up on top of the house. Yes, you do. You got workman's comp. That covers it. But something's got to be done because they sent me a notice my insurance is going to collapse in July. They're moving out of Florida. Other insurance companies want to say, well, you know, your house, how long has shingles been on your house? One company says they've been there 5 years, they're not going to insure them. Another company says 10 years. Then another company says 15 years, which that's the same thing as depreciation, which I agree with depreciation on shingles. And they get false claims where people buy houses and then sell them, and then they need roofs, and then they go put a false claim in, and they go out there and have it done. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I got pictures right here and other stuff. I'm not going to leave it, but I'd like to set up some kind of meeting with the codes. I don't blame the codes. Y'all work for the citizens. The city manager, acting city manager, works for y'all. Codes and other people works for him. So we need to come up with a way where if the state is saying this is correct, then they're wrong because the manufacturer don't tell how it's done. I got a report on where a home inspector in Jacksonville done inspection on a roof pipe vent, and it was incorrectly done, the same thing as this right here. I replaced 3 of them so far, and they was put on. I don't blame the contractor for it. I blame the workers. But I do blame, the codes for allowing, and well, Steve told me that he didn't have no choice, but I had to do it this way because the commission said they had to do it that way. So my question is, I talked with one engineer that was doing a little bit of inspection for the city here. They said they would like to have the opportunity to be doing inspections, on houses.
Thank you, sir. Kathy.
Mr. Fowler, if you'd like to go ahead and leave that, and if they can make a copy maybe and you can leave some copies with us of your pictures, would that be okay? Is that okay? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Kathy, Brian, Deltona. First of all, let me start on a fun note. At 9 o'clock on March 5th, the Friends of the Deltona Library are having a plant sale. It's a great cause. March is coming up, but the weather, I doubt we'll have any more freezes. And they always have a lot of fabulous plants for butterflies.
Madam Mayor, I'm sorry to interrupt. Kathy, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Please
if we can get her time, but I can't hear, and I want to hear what she's saying.
Can you pull the mic a little closer? I think it's...
Yeah, it's Billy.
Okay, Liz, can we do that? Because we're trying to hear the rest of public comment. I'm sorry. Start her timer over again, please.
I'm sorry, Kathy. I just wanted to hear what you had to say.
Understood. Anyways, there's plant sale from the Friends of the Deltona Library. It's a good cause, and they have fabulous plants, birds, bees, hummingbirds, things like that. Love them. I go there whenever I can, and just great variety for wherever kind of environment you live in. Second thing I'd like to ask is, when we have the workshop for the charter review, I would like to ask that we either extend the time for talk, and I understand that citizens were allowed to go. The only reason I didn't go was out of deference to the fact that somebody very near and dear to me was on the committee. And so I went on, I didn't go out of respect for that, but there are things that I have concerns about. So either that, or allow us, maybe instead of a regular kind of closed mic workshop, to have one that is more like a town hall-ish type setting. So I would like to request that. The other thing I would like to ask is that I know that like a lot of these meetings, and they go on and on and on, and a lot of it has to do with land use and development and overgrowth and this and that and the other. So my question is, when do we start a committee to look at our land use and our comprehensive plan? I mean, it's something that I would be more than happy to join. I think that a lot of us would like to have smarter growth, greener growth, that type of thing. But we can't do it by editorializing from the dais. We have to, you have to actually do something. And so no comments, because time goes on and I have to work in the morning. But I just want to say that I think efforts are made to try to do something environmentally within the charter, and that's not the place for it. So we instead of talking, let's do. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Christopher Valdez.
How you doing? This got to deal with my brother's death here on Highland Boulevard. Andy died on February 16, 2022. My name is Christopher Joel Valdez. I am Andy's voice. I'm here to represent my little brother. I am Andy's voice. Andy was 34 years old. He was the son of Eric Valdez and Judith Maldonado, my mom and dad. He was the brother of Eric Valdez and Christopher Joel Valdez, which is me. He was my little brother. Andrew has a family. We are the Valdez family. I believe that my brother should still be alive. I believe this horrible accident could have been prevented. My family is suffering from a young man that kept his family strong and in faith. He would always tell me, Joey, look for God. Joey, did you pray today? Joey, God loves you. He would give me a hug and say, I love you, and God has plans with you. He kept me motivated in my life. He showed me that in life, you don't need anything to be happy. He sparked my soul. I thank God that he has blessed me with what I have in life now. But also I thank him for letting me meet such a wonderful person. His smile and his soul always lit up the room. My bond with my little brother is everlasting. Andy had a life that none of us will ever experience. He struggled in places we would never want to be in. Now I know why, even though we try to speak to him, Andy always said he needed to go. God had a purpose for Andy. He was walking in the darkness, holding the light, carrying the light with him wherever he would go. I've said plenty of times my brother is a tool, a special tool, a tool you can't buy at a store, a tool that we can't order online, a tool that no human being would ever be able to make on a piece of equipment. That tool is Jesus Christ. Think about it. He spread the word where no pastor would able to just walk in. There's no pastor has ever went to where he's went. He brought the word to the darkest areas of this world. He was used by God in weird, different ways. God says his word will reach everybody's ears and everyone will know who's Lord. For him, in order to walk in Central Florida roads and highways, He had a mission. Shyness did not exist in my brother. Being afraid did not exist in my brother. I am Andy's voice. I will be his voice until Andy's heard. We, the Valdez, are asking for safety in our community. My little brother's not the only person that walks the street. I walk the street as well. You walk the street as well, and your kids also walk the street as well. We are looking for a change in this community. My little brother should still be alive. I'm here today to let everyone know that safety is the first thing here in Deltona. We all have a purpose, and if you don't have one, or feel you don't have one, then I tell you, stand with me and be Andy's voice. We need to make a change in the future for the sake of our kids, brothers, and sisters. Stand with me and be Andy's voice. God bless, and remember, safety is for our children, and safety starts right now. I am Andy's voice.
Thank you, sir. That's it, Mayor. Thank you. Okay, any City Commission special reports and requests?
My bad.
Commissioner Ramos?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to bring an update in reference to the TPO Executive Search Committee. We had 18 applicants. We were able to bring that down to 12 applicants. And so we're looking forward to that going into the second round and eventually having an executive director for our TPO. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. And I apologize, I skipped over item 10, comments on consent agenda items. And consent agenda, we don't have anything on consent this evening, so no comments. City Attorney, Marcia, any comments this evening? Mr. Peters?
Yes, ma'am. I've got 3 items. The first one is regarding Mr. Fowler's complaint regarding roofing. We are looking into the matter. One of the problems that we have struggled with in the past is there was a change in the state statute with regard to roofing inspections. They now...
John, is your mic on?
The green light is on.
Yeah, it's just
Is that
really...
better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. In the case of Mr. Fowler with the roofing, we've had, I think, about 30 type complaints. The way the state statute reads now is that the roofing contractor can certify that they've done certain parts of their work. And we really don't have a whole lot of authority. And what I told Mr. Fowler was that in his particular case, the best thing he could do would be to reach out to the contractor and or reach out to the Department of Business and Professional Regulation and file a complaint against the contractor and provide that documentation. So while the city is doing all we can, there are other recourses available to our residents when they have a situation like this. The second thing is on the, at some point in the future, I would like to have a discussion with the commission about the potential of a moratorium. A year ago, really did not want to pursue that. However, following the strategic planning session, there was a lot of discussions about how we want to move forward with the land development code and that type of thing. And I believe the situation is different now in that
Mr. Peters, we're really having a problem with these microphones tonight. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. It's either loud or we can't hear, and we're all on the same page up here. So please, no talking in that corner over there because we cannot hear, and I'm assuming you guys can't either, what's being said. So, Mr. Peters, you're talking about a moratorium?
Yes, ma'am. During the strategic planning, there was consensus that we need to move forward with hiring a consultant firm to begin the new land development code. In addition, having what I would call a mini strategic planning session as to what we're looking for in our new land development code, whether it be performance zoning or whatever format we want, and then also having the first round of neighborhood meetings to elicit comments from the public. And once we have that information, we will know what direction we need to move with regard to the Land Development Code. But what's equally important is when Ron and his staff are negotiating with the developer on our PUD, we now have some direction as to what we're looking for. And so I will probably be coming to you all, and I don't know if it'll be next meeting or the following one, with a recommendation that we do a moratorium for a 9-month period, but any project that's already in queue by 1st of June or end of June will proceed. But at that point, no new projects will be accepted. We have to provide a period of time for people that are already in project because they've invested to go forward, but then we also have to have a reasonable time frame to complete the task, which will be hiring a firm, having a mini strategic session, and neighborhood meeting to get a sense of what direction we want to move going forward. So I just want to let you all know that. And it pains me to say this, I'm going to have to do a shout out to Commissioner McCool. You all had a weigh-in tonight, and you know, I'm not bragging. I lost more weight than both of them combined. But I want to thank Ms. McCool. If you notice, I do not have a candy dish up here anymore. She instructed the city clerk's office that I'm not allowed to have sugar. But through the coaching of Ms. McCool, over the last 12 weeks, is that right? Yep, 12 weeks, my A1C had gone from 12.4, which is ridiculous, to 7.9. So I want to thank Ms. McCool. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll move on to city commission comments. Who wants to start this evening? Commissioner McCool, I pick you, since you're like the rock star tonight.
I would like to, comments are, I had a ride-along that I did on Friday night, and I did the night shift ride-along. And when I tell you that it was life-changing and eye-opening, I am not using that phrase lightly. I watched these officers. I would like to thank our sheriff, first of all, Sheriff Chitwood, for allowing this to happen, and Captain McDaniel for putting this together, and Captain Marino for always, say you need to do a ride-along. And I rode along with Sergeant Roman and Deputy Estrada. And when I tell you about my heart being in my throat when we did a stop, when we did traffic stops, and watching them go up to a vehicle, not knowing what was going to come out of that vehicle, I'm like, I thought I was, you know what I mean, pretty savvy, but I'm not at all. The risk that our officers take every day, keeping us safe, I'm telling you right now, I have a new appreciation for it. I've always appreciated it. My dad was in law enforcement, but I have an appreciation being there firsthand and watching. So thank you guys, if you listen or if you hear this. And they really opened up and talked about what it was like to serve. And, another thing that Sheriff Chitwood hit on tonight is something that I wanted to speak about also, is that people want to come to Deltona now. These officers like being in Deltona and want to be in Deltona. So I would like to thank them for that. Second of all, I want to speak to the family of Andy Valdez. Chris, thank you for coming out. Thank you for coming out. I'm glad that you took the offer when I extended the offer to come talk, because this is your community here. In your community, when one in our community grieves, we all grieve, especially a loss like that at a young age. And so when you say that you want to be the voice of Andy, so do we. We can do better as a city, and we're trying really hard to do better and improve the quality of life for everyone. And I hope that when we all think about safety and where we spend our money, that we keep Andy in mind, and just know that we will continue to pray for your family.
We will continue to be your family, and we will continue to be better, and to know that the loss of Andy's life was not in vain, and that we hear you, and we will be with you over the next few weeks and months and years as you grieve. So please always feel free to reach out to us. Again, we are your family, and we're here for you for whatever you might need. The last thing I want to talk about is we have, I'm just going to say we have something exciting coming up. We're in the first initial planning stages of it, but it has to do with cars, and I'm excited. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And thank you guys for listening, and always tell your first responders thank you. Our fire department, I saw them that evening also. The stuff, Chief, that your people do, as far as I was on a Baker Act call, and just what you guys do. I have a new appreciation for it, so I'd like to thank your department also for answering the call every time. We're really fortunate to have such caring people running our emergency services, so thank you for that also. And everybody else that showed up, thank you guys when you come out and engage. It is very meaningful, and it is impactful to see you out there. It makes my job worth doing when I'm able to hear what your concerns are and maybe address them. So thank you all for coming out. That's all I have.
Commissioner Ramos?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to echo real quickly, Commissioner McCoo, in reference to Christopher and Andy Valdez for coming out and being that voice. One of the other things is, I think it was 2 weeks ago on the 12th, we definitely had an exciting, the Wildlife Festival over across the street in Lyona. I did send out an email to see where we were participating. We were not. That was the only disappointment, that we did not participate, and it was a beautiful day, and what better opportunity to collaborate with the county and to also put the word about our eco parks. I look forward to hopefully next year for us to play a better role with the Wildlife Festival. Thank you.
Commissioner Bradford?
I just want to extend our condolences to you all, and coming out here tonight so close to the tragic, I'm sure it had to be hard. And I did drive by you guys, as I said earlier tonight, and it tore my heart, because I'm a mom as well. And just know we're here. We heard you, and, you know, like our city manager said, they're going to do what we can to try to get, you know, the road to slow down, and we'll make sure that everybody knows it's in Chris's honor. I really don't have anything else tonight.
Commissioner Sosa?
Yeah, I just want to extend my condolences to Andy's family. Sorry for your loss. Yeah, definitely a young man. Sorry for your loss. Couple things. Going back to Mr. Fowler and the roofing, I have to agree with him. We pay the city a fee for them to inspect our roofs. Why are we not getting somebody to inspect the roofs? I mean, the resident, every time you put a roof on, you pay a permit, and that permit is for you to inspect it to make sure that it's done properly. I'm sure just because we have a state law saying that if the contractor decides to sign on it, doesn't mean that the city can't get up there and look at the roof and make sure it's installed right. And I think as a government that's charging a fee for a service, we should be providing that service. So I think that is something definitely we need to look into doing as far as getting these inspections done.
Commissioner Sosa, part of the problem is that the complaint that went out to the state was that usually to do a roof, I believe it's 4 separate inspections. In each phase, you have to schedule the inspection. So you have a roofing contractor out doing what could be a 3 or 4 day job, and they have to wait 4 separate times for inspection, which could take 1 or 2 days. So what is a 2 or 3 day job ends up being an 8, 9, 10 day job. And so the roofing industry went to the state to ask that this process be changed. And so when you do a building permit for the roofing, much of what we're doing is documenting who the contractor was, have the paperwork that they certified that they've done the correct work, and then we final it. So yes, we do charge a fee, and we do document all the components of that roof being done. Otherwise, as I said, the process of getting the inspection done on those individual components would spread the project out over a week or 2 weeks. Remember, many of these roofs are exposed to the elements. People complain about water intrusion into the house while they're waiting for an inspection on the tar paper. I don't know all the stuff, but like I said, it's like 4 separate elements, and you can be waiting 2 to 3 days between elements. So that's why the roofing industry went to the state. Our role in those particular cases where the roofing contractor is providing documentation, if we're the resource to keep that information so that if you sell your property and somebody comes in, they can sue who the roofing contractor was and that all the stuff was done.
Yeah, well, what about even in final inspection, just to make sure the nail patterns are done right? I mean, if people are paying for a permit, my thing is, how much is a roofing permit right now? I had my roof done a few years ago. I didn't even pay attention to the permit. How much is a roofing permit?
I don't know that, sir, but I would be happy to have the building department do a presentation to the commission on the roofing process and how it works. I think that would probably do all of it well and the community well so that they understand how this is done. It is, for me personally, it's frustrating because I'm not unlike you. If you're paying for a service, you should get a service. But I will have the building department come and do a presentation on the roofing process and how it works in the state of Florida.
I would appreciate that. Thank you. That's it for today.
Nope. Where public comment, sir, is over. Commissioner King?
Okay, first of all, I want to say the 10th, several of us were at the CompStat meeting. That is one of the meetings that I enjoy going to more than any other meeting. The Sheriff's Department is so informative. I'm always excited to hear the fact that crime in our city is going down, and the solving of crimes, the percentage in that area is going up. We are something like 20% higher than the national average for solving crimes in Deltona. So I'm real excited about that. I think we're going in the right direction there. Also, I think there were 4 of us that were at the ethics training on the 11th, and the 4 of us got our certificates saying that we are ethically informed and ready to go to work. So, and then the other thing, I just want to let everybody know that this coming Friday, salute to service. If you're a veteran, you're a family that has veterans, you're a patriot, you love our country, come out Friday night to the center and get yourself a ticket, $15 a piece, to see Rocky Lynn in concert. He's awesome. He's a great friend of mine. And the neat thing is that most all of the money that he raises, he donates to a 501c3 called Tribute to the Troops. And I believe since 9/11, I may be off on this a little bit, but on that part, but not the rest. I believe since 9/11, he has put 180 surviving students of killed in action veterans through college since 9/11. So come out and enjoy the concert. It'll be an awesome tribute to our veterans, both veterans, active duty serving. So come see it. It's going to be awesome. $15 a ticket. Starts at 7 o'clock at the center, doors open at 6.
Thank you, sir. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. So, again, my condolences to the Valdez family. And if you hang around afterwards, I would like to speak to you. Also, I just want to give a shout out to the Freemasons on Apache Circle. They did an awesome free pancake breakfast this Saturday, and the fire truck and the deputies' cars were the spotlights of that day with all the kids that showed up. They were on and off from the fire truck to the deputies' cars, and one little boy came over to me and said, I was on the deputy's car and I was the prisoner. So I said, why weren't you driving the car and let the deputy be the prisoner? But they were so excited, so I want to thank the Masonic Lodge for putting this on for the community. It was a free event. And I also want to touch on what Mr. Peters was saying about bringing the staff to explain about the roof. One of the things that I started doing in my town hall meetings, and those of you who have attended, is to invite staff from the city to come and explain what their responsibilities are and what their roles are. And so it puts a face to the back office departments of the city here in Deltona. And it has been very successful. The last meeting, I had probably 5 people show up because of the weather. But I tell you, those 5 people kept our staff here for 2 hours, asking questions and getting information from them. So this is a good idea to bring out our staff and introduce them to our residents so they can put a face in who's doing the job and how is it done. Other than that, hope to see you Friday, Commissioner. Thank you, and thank you everyone for coming out today.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
May I say?
Sure.
2 more things. Just to tag on to the Rocky Lynn concert, if there's anybody here tonight, I still have a few tickets left. So see me after, and I can get you tickets tonight. The other thing is, I did want to address Valdez family and let you know that, in the middle of our grief, there's always that silver liner. And we have to remember, I know your brother who, matter of fact, Betty is in my Bible study class. I suppose you might know that. But we know that when a saint goes to heaven, that they're greeted by other saints. And people like your brother that are on the street every day, spreading the word of God, create children. They might not be biological children, but they are spiritual children. Paul called all the people that he ever led to Jesus his children. And I believe your brother probably is in heaven, and he was greeted by those children that he had already led to the Lord. But he's not done here on earth, because he spoke to a lot of people that will still make that decision along the way, and he'll be there to welcome those children when they get there. So it's an awesome testimony that you gave tonight for your brother. I appreciate it, and I know that that his family, spiritual, is still growing. So thanks for being here.
Commissioner King, I was going to offer the condolences, my condolences to you and your family. Thank you for speaking this evening, but I cannot say any more than you just did. You were very eloquent, and I can't expound but to agree with him. So with that, we are adjourned.